Hey guys, Garrett back for Sableye the Mind Sculptor with a Legacy deck tech. So one of my friends got me hooked on X-Mage, and I just decided as long as I'm not paying Legacy prices, I may as well see what the format's about, and yeah, here I am. So after looking at the meta for a bit, I decided to make what seems to me to be a pretty safe deck. This is a deck that I have a little bit of admiration for in Modern, actually. There it's called Free Win Red. I don't really know what I'm going to call it here. Free Win Red still seems pretty appropriate, actually. So, moving into the deck, we have our land base Scalding Tarn, Arid Mesa, and Wasteland. 4, 4, and 2, respectively. And I did this because I don't really want very many lands, so the thinning is nice. And as I said at the beginning, I'm kind of throwing budget to the wind for this deck. It is Legacy after all. The rest of the deck is 1 basic island, 4 volcanic islands, and 3 mountains. So that'll get me the mana I need, and the number of fetches just means that I won't be drawing too many lands. The 2 wastelands will help disrupt other decks too if I need to. They're just nice to have in the deck. Help you draw out of situations where you still haven't gotten a chance to sideboard yet. So, moving on to the main deck, you'll see we have a little bit of fast mana, just a little. By which I mean a playset of Desperate Ritual, a playset of Pyretic Ritual, and a playset of Chrome Mox. So, Desperate Ritual is an instant for 2 that adds 3 red to your mana pool. Pyretic Ritual is an instant for 2 that adds 3 red to your mana pool. Chrome Mox is an artifact for 0 that when you cast it, you imprint a card from your hand, which means exile it, underneath Chrome Mox, basically. And then you can tap Chrome Mox to add 1 of that card's colors to your mana pool. I also have a playset of Simian Spirit Guide, which is a 3 mana 2/2 that you can exile from your hand to add 1 red to your mana pool, and a playset of Elvish Spirit Guide, which is a 2/2 for 3 that you can exile from your hand to add 1 green to your mana pool. So why do I need all of this? Well, that's because I need to be casting some things as soon as possible. I need to be casting a lot of my stuff on turn 1, or it's not going to be effective. So what am I casting that is such a big deal? First, we have Chalice of the Void, which needs to be X1 when I cast it. What Chalice of the Void is a double X artifact that enters with X charge counters on it, and whenever a player plays a spell with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on it, you counter that spell. So in Legacy, if you play this on 1, some decks aren't going to be able to play Magic at all. It's kind of weak to Abrupt Decay because even if you put it X2, you can't stop them from casting their Abrupt Decay. But that's a small detail compared to the fact that some decks just can't play with a Chalice on 1. So next we have Blood Moon, which if you play Modern you'll be familiar with. It just is a 3 mana enchantment that says all non-basic lands are mountains. Again, lands is a deck in this format. It just can't play if you have a Blood Moon resolved. So you might be seeing the pattern here. We have a playset of Trinisphere, which is a 3 mana artifact that says as long as it's untapped, each spell that would cost less than 3 mana to play costs 3. As with all of these other things, you can just play this blind on turn 1, given all our fast mana, and some decks cannot play against you at all. They just can't play cards. They'll never be able to win, no matter how much time they were given. So the plan is you basically stick one of these on turn 1, and it'll either keep your opponents from playing the game, or just slow them down to a ridiculous extent, and then you follow up with one of these. Cloth of the Hammer, which is the same thing you use in Modern, and Chandra Torch of Defiance, which, coincidentally enough, also the same thing you use in Modern. Not a lot of variance in that department. So Cloth can turn a mountain into a 4/4 until end of turn, and he can also add a bunch of mana to your mana pool, but what he's really here for is just ticking up to his ultimate, which is you get an emblem with mountains you control have tap this land deals 1 damage to target creature or player. And this is huge. In Legacy, this means they can never have creatures, and you're just going to slowly kill them. There's nothing you can do to remove that many mountains or to get rid of an emblem. So Cloth is great. You just tick him up a couple of times, pop his ult, and you slowly win. And then Chandra will just tick up, filter you through your deck, find you the Koth or whatever piece of disruption you need, and she can also just eventually win the game with her emblem or with her damage. And then our last spell is just one Pyroblast. This is here if you have any misgivings, you just hold this up. It's great if they have a Force of Will. You can just get rid of their Force of Will as it's coming down to stop you from going off. If you actually have this in your opening hand, I definitely suggest just waiting and making sure you have the Pyroblast for their Force of Will. So moving on to the sideboard, we have our last three Plyroblasts. You really want these against blue decks. Uh, three Hydroblasts, because burn can be hard to beat without them. Three Grafdigger's Cage, because Dredge, especially Manaless Dredge, is very scary to me. Null Rod, because there are artifact decks that are very popular. And lastly, Ensnaring Bridge, because it beats more than you think. Looking at it, it seems like it beats aggro decks. That's definitely what it does in Modern. But it also will keep an Emrakul from ever attacking you if they sneak and show it in. Same for Gristlebrand. And it really does beat a lot of decks. A lot of things just can never beat an Ensnaring Bridge. Especially in this deck where it is very, very easy to keep your hand clear just by casting your fast mana over and over again. So that's the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I might grab some footage of it on Xmage. It costs about $700 on MTGO though, so don't hold out any hope of seeing it there. That's been this deck. Until next time, peace out.